A parent writes, "The first 2 months at home were horrible. Amy, 9, went from being lively and outgoing to a depression, sleeping round the clock. She was used to someone parceling out her time and couldn't seem to find her own way. Though my husband and I are both at home, we seem to be involved in our own work, neither of us giving her the attention she needed. She was justified in feeling bored and unhappy. I seemed not to understand then how we could be together and still find our individual time to work. Towards the end of the first 2 months, Dorothy, 6 1/2, dropped out too. She seemed to bring the fun back into the house that we were all looking for. Right from the beginning, Amy refused to have me teach her or to do standard schoolwork. They had always been avid students beyond other kids their age. Dorothy, of course, copied her sister's refusal, so I dropped the whole idea of teaching. The first remarkable thing I should mention is that Dorothy had suffered an intestinal problem and colds from day one in school. On Monday, I told her she never had to go to school again. On Tuesday, the intestinal problem and colds ended and have never returned. These kids spent the next few months in endless play. Their fantasy mirrored life around them or from the 8 or 10 books they read each week. They took off on the most amazing journeys, in the living room, of course, sometimes lasting for days. It was exciting to watch them in this play. Dorothy and I began playing little math games with her fancy colored chalk and board. I'd make the problems, and she'd solve them and beg for more. That opened me to think of other games. I showed them how to play hangman. They never tired of this spelling game. Another word game they love is making small words from large words. We played the picture graph suggested in GWS number 17 and also did the multiplication grid. Both were big hits. We've recently bought workbooks and they now enjoy them. They pick the books themselves and are free to work at their own pace. When they've finished, they can buy another. But what they like best are the pages of math, geometry, and beginning algebra I create myself. Much of it done in metrics, which I know nothing about. I simply try to reason out problems by saying to myself, how can I divide this triangle in 3 equal parts? How would I write an equation for this? And so on. I make these pages artistic and create similar problems, but geared to their different ages. The amazing thing is that I try reading math books and don't understand them, yet this seems to work. How? Who knows? Aside from the ABCs, they've become nice children again, leaving their vicious teasing and cruelty in their old schools. The one thing lacking is peer friendships, and we're working on that. Amy has become very interested in theater. I was able to get her an audition for a musical at a local college. She got the part, and during the early rehearsals, Dorothy was also placed in the show. It turned out to be an extremely positive experience for them. They got to work in a professional way, taking something from the beginning to end, seeing it develop from rehearsal jeans into beautiful costumes. They learned discipline, that others depended on them and their work. They gained patience from continuous stagings and corrections. The college kids were wonderful toward the children. And Dorothy, who only seemed to hear bass sounds and had trouble reproducing pitches, can now sing in the soprano range and on pitch. Dorothy's reading zoomed way ahead in her desire to learn the entire script. Each day she read it aloud. Now she can read novels with a little larger print. Within the first week, Amy memorized all the parts and songs, and Dorothy did the same a few weeks later. We're presently looking for more opportunities in theater arts for them.